another division where that's in charge of my location, and I'm not supposed to be business. That I am under emergency and I've called you. You are supposed to see the best and the fastest way to respond, but instead they were referring me to a division that I don't understand. So how do we address that kind of situation? Thank you.
Calling from FCT and its environs, and you call FCT Fire Service, there is no time FCT Fire Service will respond that you are not calling the right division. Because if you call, I only gave only one number, and we have 14 fire stations. So that one number I called is to turn out the nearest fire station to you. If I should ask, where did you call from? Just answer me. Lagos? Lagos, yes. Okay, Lagos. If you call Lagos, then you call Lagos Fire Service, is that not? If you call Lagos State Fire Service, they also have stations around. Probably you called Federal Fire Service that is sitting in Lagos. You know, they also have zonal offices. And if they have zonal offices, the person that took the call is not supposed to answer you, sorry, you have called the wrong division. Is the right thing for him to do is, where did you say the fire is? Along so place in Ikorodu or whatever. Say, okay, I'm turning out. Then he will now call Lagos State Fire Service, because they have stations scattered in the entire state. So they will now call the nearest fire station. In FCT, when you call that you are, hello, is that fire service from Kubwa? We even have Kubwa number, but we're not giving you. We just want you to call this hotline. So that by the time you call the hotline, you say you are calling from Kubwa. The control room already know what to do. You will just turn out Kubwa fire station. Kubwa, there is fire along Kagini by so place. Please go there right now. Doesn't have to ask who called. No, they are going. They are turning out. Even yesterday, no, on Sunday. Yesterday was Sunday. No, Sunday. Sorry, there was fire at Bazango Estate. Who know Bazango Estate in Kubwa? Okay, they turn out from. They called the fire service from Asokoro, and they turn out Kubwa station. And somebody have question to ask here? Please.
Thank you, sir. My name is Mayo, third floor. What I want to ask is, in a case like this, is there any provision from the fire service towards the PWD, that is people with disabilities, to assist them? Thank you, sir.
No. Thank you. In every rescue mission, there is a way we carry people with disabilities. Another thing is that in every standard building as this, there's what we call refuge point. I don't know whether you have it here. Refuge point is a place of refuge for people with disabilities. So if somebody, for example, is evacuating from the 8th floor and he is a little bit disabled, then, or living with disability, the person will now move to the nearest refuge point. He will now stay there. Many people will be passing him, but he wouldn't care, knowing that that place is a bit safe. Or the safety warden of that floor will take him to the refuge point and then say, hold on here, let me go and do more duty. This place is a bit safe. They will now move him out at the appropriate time when others have moved out, or when they are still moving out, they will now have time for him, and they will now give him that rescue shoulder carriage. Are we there? Then, from the fire service, we don't have to plan your building for you. But one of the safety standards you must meet up with is that there should be a refuge, evacuation refuge point. Or there should be a place, a ramp, where you carry luggage, is that not? That can also be used to wheel somebody with disability. Or from the front, final road. So there are different ways of evacuating such person, but attention must be given to them from the safety wardens. safety wardens are responsible to make sure he evacuates safely. And in most cases where this building is owned, hello, safety first, safety always. In this building, let's say it is owned by one company. What they will do is people living with disability, will be at the ground floor. Their office will be located at the ground floor. They will so specially do it so. Even if is the SA to the MD that is at the top floor, they will tell him walk from ground floor. They will change the office so that when it's time for escape, he will quickly evacuate from the building. Yes. Okay, please, the last question.
Thank you very much for the simulation. And I'm also happy that when you came, you assessed us to see our level of preparedness and you gave us 32%. I was thinking that we should also find out the level of preparedness of this place. Unfortunately, our history in the nation is there are several times that people will seek the attention of fire service and either the vehicle is not okay or they don't have water. I want to find out here if there should be a need to call you. Do we have water reservoir that can be available? And at the fire service, do you have adequate water in case there's eventuality to come and help? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to believe that in the year 1960, when we got independence, we were not as advanced as today. But today, we cannot be telling ourselves the story that, during the 1960s, during the independence. Honestly, we have passed the stage of calling fire service and they will say there is no water. The only thing you will experience is that how soon will the water in your fire vehicle last? You see, by the time you carry the hose, you put branch and you start fighting the fire, within 2 seconds, about a drum of water is out of the tank. A drum is 200 liters. Is that not? Because of it's not only the water that is on top of that fire that is extinguishing the fire, but the pressure that it comes with. So as it is coming with that pressure, it is more effective. So it gushes out so quickly. Before you know it, a tanker filled with water is finished. Now, what are we supposed to do by standard? Church gate supposed to have what we call fire hydrants. That is how prepared are you? Fire hydrant that church gate supposed to have is not only one, sir, and about 1, 2, let's say about 5. Yes, 4 or 5. Reason that being that the fire service they need not to go back and search for water and come back. No, they will prime here, because whenever we turn out for fire, and it's a big fire, we turn out with tanker. A water tanker is always going with the fire tender. So if the tanker is following, as it's feeding, this is also feeding from the fire hydrant. So you can now see that there will be no interruption in the fighting of the fire as a result of water shortage. More so, sir, by the time there is water, we know that there's no fire hydrant around here, and then we know that this water will not last that long. We turn out more fire stations to join us. Hello, NGI, please join us at so place. Games Village, join us at so place. They will abandon their territory and fight that fire, because that is the common enemy that we know as at that time. Thank you so much.
Yes, let me just quickly add. Mr. Ibrahim, this is the first time here. That's why you see that his style is different from the previous ones that have been coming. There are some information here is not private too. But let me just answer it. We have fire hydrant here. We have reservoirs. And let me cite it. How many of us remember there was this little fire incident in the water at that time? Yes. It was our internal fire that was used to extinguish. Yes, we called the fire service, but unfortunately they could not do anything. It was our water, our internal water reservoir and confinement that was used. On each floor, we have hosiery that will be connected. That hosiery covers the whole length of your floor. That is one. Two, we have fire sprinklers that is being fed from external reservoir. And when I'm talking about reservoir, we're not talking about small water. Maybe one of these days will show us an excursion of how our reservoir looks like. So your hosiery covers the whole floor, the entire floor, and we have hosiery in all the floors. If you want to know the location of the hosiery, it's just be close to the lift lobby. You will see it there. That was why on the floor, 8th floor, I think, where we had that issue. And I said, no, you should not block the entrance to that hosiery. So in terms of water, we have sufficient. But I like the question because sometimes, due to the nature of the fire, even though we have our water reservoir and fire, and then something happen, anything can happen anytime. So the question could have been, okay, how prepared now the fire service to combat that fire when the available water are exhausted? But you have answered it, that they will call for external assistance from other locations. Thank you. The last question, we are running out of time. Last, go for our time.
Sorry, good morning, John Bosco, 10th floor. I want to ask one very simple question. What if it is in a situation where you have a dumb person in their house and there's a fire? How does the dumb person communicate with fire service?
Yes, you see, when he was to ask this question, he started with the question is a very simple question. For you to have judged that the question is so simple, and then it now came in a way of jump, not even jump, international one, that how will you communicate with a dumb person? So that means if you have somebody that is trained specially, you now know how to talk to such person. No, you don't need to do that. You see, your fire alarm system communicates with dumb and deaf and special people. That is why we have what do you call it? Fire alarm bell, the one that has lights. It shows that there's an emergency, because that's one thing about training. When you train people, you train those that are physically challenged that come. You see, when this thing is blinking, it's an emergency. You can do this. You communicate in a way that whenever he sees it, he will remember that this is an emergency situation. So it is not for us from the fire service to start communicating with such person in your own building, but for the building to communicate with him on how to evacuate that place safely. And the building must have installed so many of these fixed installations, including the water mains, hosiery, and emergency lighting, for him to understand that this is not a normal situation, but it's a kind of condition that will warrant him to leave the building. That is the only responsibility.
Let me just add to it. This is Nigeria. Let's come back. See, when you have a dumb person, like the question he asked, very sensitive question, who cannot hear. Some are even, let's say he's blind, he cannot see. So how do you now work the person out? It is because you can see, that's where you can see the smoke detector blinking or anything that will signal you. So somebody is blind and is using a walking stick to walk. How do you evacuate the person?
Okay. Actually, like I said before, the safety wardens are filled with responsibilities. Once such person has been identified in the building, even before emergency comes, the first thing that will be treated, because one thing we said during safety trainings, we do give that every person that is special, because we call them special or physically challenged. So these special people are treated specially in a way that when they are being evacuated, like now, he's blind, he doesn't. So by the time you are evacuating from the building, you can even run on him and he will fall and people will not trample on him. He might from there sustain more injuries. So what you do is just for you to evacuate him specially, because he's not complicating, he cannot communicate, you just carry him, back him up, and then you lift him up and you leave the building. That is number one. Number two, sir, is that the moment you touch his shoulder, because one thing we learn about special people is touching their shoulder. when you touch his shoulder 3 times, you pat 3 times, 3 parts, pat 1, 2, 3. It signals to them that there's an emergency. I don't know how, but you say dumb, not dull, because dull will not understand, but dull witted will not understand, but a dumb person still understands. You just tap 3 times. What is it? You carry his hand, you carry him down and say, there's something. If he's not blind, you will see. If he's blind and he's still dumb and he's deaf, you just carry him. That means all these physically challenged, something are all with him. So you carry him out safely out of the building. And if you have more points to add to this.
Thank you, everybody. I think we'll round it off because of the time. Let's go to the practical now.
Why are you wearing this? Why do you think I gave it to you? Yes, because you are wearing this. You are wearing it. Which camp? So you experience? No, it's fireworks. Fireworks, fire me. Fire myself. Fire myself. That's why you still do Oh, you had the alarm now. You had the alarm.
Very briefly, there's a formula. Please don't light it yet. There's a formula that we use to operate fire extinguisher. Who can remind us, because I was told that you have done so many fire practical. Hello? When I was asking, I didn't ask the organ now. I was asking others. Not you, sir. Not you, sir. What is the formula that we can use? Pass. You just said it now. Pass. Pass is pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze the handle of the fire extinguisher, and sweep from side to side. PASS. Now, we want to do the practical now. This fire is too much.
Pull the pin. Aim. Aim at the base. At the base.
Pull the trigger.
Now we trigger. And sweep. You know sweep now.
When there's fire, you use fire. Only goes fire. More fire. I don't want to show my. It's not fire.
Never do.
Because it's not bringing out. There's no gas.
Mr. Martin.
Yes, please.
Why would I say your phone 5,000? Because
This your video now. Since when they start this drill, and you never cause am. Na documentation for fit.
7th floor. Please, somebody from 7th floor should just volunteer right now.
Come on.
She's coming. The lady is coming. I can see her. So everybody should clap for her. What is her name? Oh, shout her name now. First lady. First lady. You know what to do? Please, as you are doing it, explain it to us. Wait. Okay. Remove it. The thing you do first, please squeeze that. Squeeze the hand, the pin. The spoon. Squeeze the pin so that squeeze. Yes. Oh yes. Oh yeah now. Cut it. You can even do like this. Wait. Leave it. See.
Yes, never born.
Pull the pin. Aim at the base. You don't wait. I will tell you something. He's changing direction, so the direction of the wind must be followed. Go to the back. Yes. Now you can see. Oh yeah. Base. Squeeze the handle. Oh. Sharp. 92%.
No, now.